Hey, what's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas here in Las Vegas, being joined with the father of Devin Haney, Bill Haney, as they're gearing up for this fight against George Kambosos coming up June 4th here in the United States, but June 5th in Australia. Fighting on a Sunday, that's something new, right?
It's only befitting that it's the Super Bowl of boxing. It's the Super Bowl of the lightweight division for all the belts. So why not be on a Sunday?
Is there like a change because you guys are fighting what would be like the morning over there? Or is it the morning, or are you guys fighting at night on Sunday?
Well, it's technically going to be the afternoon over there, I believe. It'll be the afternoon, you know. So for all intent purposes, it's sounding more like the Super Bowl, you know what I mean, of the lightweight division. It'll be decided one belt, one champion.
When you look at the fight, Bill, and going to Australia, like I know a lot has been said, like can you guys get a fair shake in Australia given like the international judges, but like how much are you guys concerned about that, or if not at all concerned about that?
Concerned. At least I'm not, you know, because I want to give a special shout out to the Victorian government who's put up the money to make this thing happen, right? For all intent purposes, you want to know that everyone is going to be professional. Everyone is going to be on their A game. You have two fighters that are going to come in. They're looking to be on their A game. You have two trainers and promoters. You have Peter Kahn, that's been a hell of a manager to get his fighter to this point. Me as a manager, and of course you have Lou DiBella, like I said, that has made the resurgence in boxing. He's at the top. He has the Super Bowl fight in the lightweight division. So when you have all these guys on their A game, why would we expect that there will be judges that won't be on their A game? Why would we expect referees not to be on their A game?
Bill, like you know boxing, like you know the judges sometimes are a little like some of the decisions, and sometimes
I don't expect that. Yeah. I go into it if a judge has worked his lifetime, right, his career up to get to a point that he's in a fight for undisputed, and then you expect him to do something to cast a shadow of a doubt on himself, right, based on what? These are things that we all work to get into. I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize my credibility, right? You know what I mean? I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to do my best, right? And I expect that they're going to do their best as well. We go into it and say that no, well maybe they're going to be the ones that everyone else is on their A game. You're on your A game right now. You're here bright and early, right? You're on top of your game. So we expect to call in some officials, and they're not on their A game. Well, why would they do that? That wouldn't make any sense to me.
In terms of the officials, I think Devin mentioned it. They're going to be like neutral, not from Australia, but not from the U.S. or
there'll be international judges, right? And hopefully, as we pick them, that they're judges that haven't had any discrepancies in their career, any kind of bad calls or anything like that, and we pick them, as both teams come together, you know what I mean? Because with this fight, we don't want that. We don't want it to be a
controversy.
We don't want this to be a controversy. Yeah. This is truly a remarkable fight of teams coming together to make something happen, and for some judges to spoil it, right, would be just heartbreaking.
Yeah, no, it would, and I think. It's boxing, and we've, over the years, I think fans have been a little, like, soured or a little jaded, like, oh, these judges, especially with international fights, just given that sometimes the international judges don't get it right or they favor a certain style over a guy who's a technician.
Okay, well, like I said, that you expect that they come in and they're on their A game. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that we can expect. Is that you
guys can do, I guess.
Yes, yeah, that's the only thing that you can do is go into it positive and optimistic that the judge is going to do his job and the ref is going to do his job, and then we're going to do our jobs.
Does it even go 12 in your guys' opinion, Bill?
Well, I look forward to a victory, to being victorious. We're preparing for Kambosos as Kambosos that he says he is. We're not going to go into it and saying that he says that he's a better fighter. So we're preparing for a better fighter. Styles make fights, and you can't go into it and saying, okay, well, we're going to fight the same. We're going to fight the Kambosos that defeated Teofimo Lopez. We have to sharpen all the tools in the toolbox and be prepared to make every adjustment.
You being in camp with Devin and seeing how he is day in and day out, like how do you mentally see this matchup with a guy like Kambosos who's aggressive, that likes to throw a lot, and Devin who's more of a technician?
Well, the more you throw, the more you get punched. You know what I'm saying? And that's always the method and the motto that we live by. We like a guy to come in and throw a lot of punches. We like a guy to be aggressive. You know what I mean? And we look forward to Kambosos doing everything that he said that he was going to do.
when you look at this fight too, this is for all the belts, undisputed. Devin is very young, at age 23, striving for something like this. And I think that's very rare. Like, you look at the other lightweights, and I mentioned to Devin, like, I feel like he's slowly starting to set himself apart from them because of the people that he's fighting now, going to enemy territory, but also the 2 other fights that he's had. Like, do you feel like with this win, like, he will get the acknowledgement that you guys have sought for his skills and his recognition is just due?
No, absolutely. That's the reason why we took the fight. We wanted to erase any lines that they say that they're sides of the streets. We wanted to do it for boxing. We wanted everyone to know that if the fighter wants to make the fight happen, they can make the fight happen. The fighters are the bosses. The promoters work for the fighters. The managers work for the fighters, and that's what we wanted to do.
So given that, then I guess there's a lot of fighters that don't want to do fights then, huh?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of misperceptions that have been created, and I think fighters have gone along with the narratives that they've been given. Is that the old cliche thing is whoever they put in front of me, I'm gonna knock down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is true. But it also goes a lot to say that fighters taking charge of their career when it comes to legacy. Early on, when a fighter is being built up, okay, is one thing. But once that you're at the top of the food chain and you're asking for this incredible money and all these other things, then you definitely have a say-so in what happens.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, at the end of the day, like, everybody works for the fighter. Like, they're the boss. They're the ones that have to do all the hard work. They go in there and they take the punches. So, I agree with that sentiment as well. Bill, you guys going to Australia. If you guys win, you guys going to go back to Australia, or are you guys going to want to push to have the fight over here in the U.S.?
Oh, absolutely. We look forward to going over and ultimately turning some Australians into fans of Devin Haney. You know what I mean? And just by his performance. One thing they're going to do is, we're going to go into it and we're going to gain their respect to coming over to put on a stage, an event like this, and be as professional, right, as we should be, and do all the things that we need to do.
The future, Bill. You guys get past the 2 fights with George Kambosos. Like, how do you kind of want to navigate fights for Devin? There's Ryan out there, there's Gervonta out there as well, but I know that 135 sometimes it's a bit hard to squeeze down to for Devin. Do you feel he moves up, or would you like him to like stick around and get those fights with Ryan and Teo and Tank?
Well, right now, Ryan and all them, like, for all intent and purpose, they're the Lakers right now. They're not in the playoffs. They're not in the, you know what I mean? They're not there, you know what I mean? I give a comparison to the Super Bowl in which there was the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams, right? No matter how much a fan of you are the Patriots, the Raiders, or whatever, your team is not in it. So us preparing for anybody other than George Kambosos would be underestimating George Kambosos. I don't look past him, right? I'm looking at him. And that's the only person that we're concentrating on. And once we become victorious, then we'll take some time, right, and look at the rest of the landscape.
What would you like, though? What do you think would be like just a great fight that you want to see Devin in outside of Kambosos if you guys win? And I know you guys aren't overlooking Kambosos, but just a hypothetical.
George Kambosos again. How about that?
When you look at the future 2-fight deal with Top Rank, are you guys looking to go the route like Canelo's doing, like a free agency where you could kind of go here for 2 fights, go there for 2 fights, or you're wanting to go back to like the Matchroom fold of things?
Well, we want to make the best fights happen, and shout out to Eddie and DAZN and Matchroom, who didn't contractually tie us to a situation where we couldn't make the legacy-defining fights. If the next fight after this is a fight for legacy, then of course we'll do it with whoever, and I'm sure Eddie will stand behind it.
That's good, because now we're getting the fights that want to see with the fighters. Ultimately, Bill, like, what happens in this fight, and what do you think is going to make the difference and be the key in this fight?
Well, it's truly a chess match between 2 boxing quintessentials. I think that Kambosos brings a certain skill set that Devin will ultimately handicap him from what he likes to do in terms of that, and see how he does with what he doesn't like to do, right? See what kind of fighter is he? Is he a complete fighter, right, or is he just a one-dimensional fighter? So that's what we look to do. We're sharpening every tool in the toolbox, and we're prepared to make every adjustment needed to make.
Do you think Devin, though, will separate himself in the fight and be dominant? Like, do you see him taking over very early, or do you think like by the end of 12 rounds it's going to be a thing that like builds up, builds up, builds up?
Well, we've never been in a close fight.
So you don't think this will be a close fight then?
Well, listen, we've never been in a close fight, and we've always prepared under the same, pretense. So we look forward to it just for Devin to go in and doing what he does, be the dominant Devin that he is, and you know what I mean. The object of the fight game is to hit and not get hit.
Very true. Bill, good seeing you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Here with Bill Haney, Marcos Villegas, Fight Up TV.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.